On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Look at me as a fuck boy, and this is one of the reasons why black people in a lot of instances are looked at so trash, because a lot of us are good, but a lot of us make the other ones look bad because they bring their own mindset into an environment that they don't understand, and instead of trying to understand it, they look to impress what they're used to on what we doing over here. No, when you over here, you got to move accordingly, or you just gonna be a fuck boy.
So hold on. Let me ask you this question.
Round of applause.
No, wait. Let me ask you this genuine question. If I go into a restaurant as a consumer, do I owe you a living?
You owe me to operate how we supposed to operate when it comes to our customers.
No. Do I, as a consumer, owe you a living? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
That's where we differ. I, as a consumer, don't owe you a living. Your employer owes you because you negotiate your fare with them. You didn't negotiate your fare with me, so I don't have to give you anything. And I'm not cheap, and I'm not a bad person because I don't want to do that. It's customary for a reason.
Let me say something.
Rilla is absolutely correct.
Yeah, and let me say something too, because understanding marketing and branding, and that there's millions of dollars that go into these stores to play particular music that you don't know that subconsciously is making you buy more. Music is influential in a whole lot of things that we do. So what you eat affects your body, what you see affects your body, what you hear affects your body. That's why you have to be protective of your temple, of what you consume. That's food, that's music, and that's your vision of what you see. There's people that spend millions of dollars just to have elevator music because they understand there's subliminal stuff that they can put. There's particular tones, and if there's musicians, they can tell you there's particular tones that they can play to get reactions out of people.
Social media is a big thing too, Courtney. Do you notice that if you're shopping for something, then you'll see like ads or random stuff on Instagram and Facebook pop up? That's why, like, for real, like social media is a big thing. That's why I suggest people don't follow toxic stuff on social media. I follow about 200 accounts. 100 are people, 100 are like mental check-in, working out, and cooking channels. But social media is a big play into that stuff also.
Are you guys tippers? Do you guys tip when you go to the restaurant?
Yes.
Y'all tip? Or y'all some quick tippers?
I mean, living in Karma.
Okay.
Sometimes too much.
At least twice the tax.
Okay. The person says, "Are you a black over tipper? Do you over tip because of the stigma that black people don't tip or don't tip well?" Let's have a chat. Let's talk about it, y'all.
I think there's a lot of people. I wouldn't necessarily say black people. I would just say a lot of people don't particularly tip, and they don't want to. If they feel like you do one thing wrong, they won't tip. Younger, I definitely probably tipped a little lower, but I also didn't have the income to be able to tip like I would want to. So I know for somebody that is like, that's their income and they're trying to get all their money that night. But some people just don't have it. And I think some people probably shouldn't go out. But at this moment right now, if you do an amazing job, I will definitely tip very good.
No, look, it's black people don't tip.
Wait.
You don't. I used to bartend when I lived in Atlanta.
Yep.
And I used to, the church people used to come in. They were the worst attitudes. And I was like, you just came out of church and then wouldn't tip nothing. Y'all are the worst. So I find I used to over tip. Now I'm just like, I give my 18% because I can't tip for all you Negroes.
If it's horrible service, I'm not tipping that good. They get a good 15%. I'm gonna be honest.
No.
So as someone who lives in America now and is from overseas, I don't think we should ever tip. I think the fact you don't get paid enough is a personal problem. And when you decided to take that job, you should have known how much you was getting paid. And you should have negotiated a better rate. No, I'm being deadly serious here. Listen, right? This idea that I owe you a living, I don't owe you anything. You decided to take the job knowing fully well it doesn't pay enough. I actually don't owe you nothing as a customer. You need to take up the fact you're underpaid with your employer or get more skilled. I'm tired of people looking at end consumers saying, you owe me a tip because I served you. That's your damn job. And if you're upset you don't get paid enough, change jobs. It's really simple. And
Let
me say this.
That's ridiculous. That's how we
Why the man can't finish? Why the man can't finish?
No, let him finish.
You could be like a drive-through or like grocery.
Why he can't finish though? Why he can't
finish?
Let him,
go ahead and let him finish. Go ahead.
Look, more importantly, when we continuously tip, we're enabling a culture of the quote unquote most vulnerable continuously being taken care of, when as an employer you should be paying your staff a decent wage to begin with anyway. It's not your responsibility as an end consumer. Can you imagine if I went to go buy a bed and they said, oh yeah, by the way, you have to tip on top of buying the bed? You'd be thinking this is ludicrous. The idea I have to tip just because I came out to have a good time is just senseless, and people just buy into it continuously.
Well, the problem with what he's saying is that he's taking a custom that's not from here and he's applying it to here.
Exactly.
And just because you used to doing one thing somewhere else don't mean that it makes sense here. And it's a reason why they pay those people $3 an hour, is because, see, what you don't get is that a lot of times it benefits them just as much as it benefits the business owner, because a lot of those tips aren't taxed, which we can have a debate about that, either way. But B, what it allows them to do is really capitalize when they're really thriving. They can really, really thrive. And a lot of times the way that they're surviving, or the way that they thrive, is based off of their ability to be great customers. So what tipping does is it incentivizes the person to give even greater service, and they over deliver, which makes it a greater experience for the people that surround them. So A, it's a custom. And so when in Rome, you do as Romans do. And then B, this is the reason why I tip at least 50% of what it is that I do, because I know that if people like this that are walking around every single day, that is translation, he's cheap as fuck. This is the real translation.
No,
cheap as fuck. And cheap I don't know what your financial situation is. I'm not judging that. It's people that make a lot of money that is cheap as fuck. Translation, cheap as fuck. And if you can't do the thing that you're accustomed to do, if I go over into a different country or I go into a different environment, I'm looking to learn and understand what the custom is so I can act appropriately. That's what grown men do. Grown men adapt to their environment and they do things according to what the customs are in that environment. I would never go into Dubai and then act like and do what Americans do, an American, and say, hey, this is what we do over there, so this is how we gonna do it over here. No, I'm looking to understand their customs, so I don't offend them, and then B, I'm looking to better understand how I can be a true person as to leave a good impression, so they don't look at me as a fuck boy. And this is one of the reasons why black people in a lot of instances are looked at so trash, because a lot of us are good, but a lot of us make the other ones look bad because they bring their own mindset into an environment that they don't understand. And instead of trying to understand it, they look to impress what they're used to on what we doing over here. No, when you over here, you got to move accordingly, or you just gonna be a fuck boy.
So hold on. Let
me ask you this question.
Round of applause.
No, wait. Let me ask you this genuine question. If I go into a restaurant as a consumer, do I owe you a living?
You owe me to operate how we supposed to operate when it comes to our customs.
No. Do I, as a consumer, owe you a living? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
That's where we differ. I, as a consumer, don't owe you a living. Your employer owes you because you negotiate your fare with them. You didn't negotiate your fare with me, so I don't have to give you anything. And I'm not cheap and I'm not a bad person because I don't want to do that. It's customary for a reason.